Are you tired of little stanky thoughts keeping you stuck in life? Are you frustrated because you keep talking yourself out of great experiences and moving forward in your goals? Are you tired of just having negative conversations in your head over and over and over again that keep you from being able to achieve the things that are the most important to you? Well, you might be having trouble with what I'm calling automatic thoughts. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Elizabeth White. We all have this brain in between these two ears that will keep our body running, right? It gives us our eyesight and our hearing and keeps all of our organs running off, that kind of thing. Well, the way that your brain is programmed is really your mind. Okay. So think about, you may have an iPhone and you have an iOS system that makes that iPhone run, right? That it tells it what to do, the program that tells it what to do. Well, in your mind, most of us, I would say all of us, have automatic thoughts. Those are thoughts that are with us every single day, all day long, that we may not be consciously aware of. Well, Liz, how could I not be consciously aware of something? Here's an analogy I want to use with you. I want you to imagine you live in a house and your house has a front yard and a backyard. Your front yard is something that you see all the time when you leave to go to the work, or you leave to go to the grocery store, or you're picking your kids up from school, or you're going to get your mail. Whatever it is, you see that front yard pretty regularly because you're in and out through the driveway in that front yard. But then there's this backyard. Now, I happen to like my backyard, but I don't see my backyard as much as I see my front yard. But my backyard is always there. It's always present. So even if I didn't see it today, which I don't think I did, even if I didn't see it today, it's not going anywhere. It is still there. It is still a built-in part of this house, right? Of this landscape. I have a front yard that I'm very aware of and a backyard that I may or may not see. Well, automatic thoughts are like a backyard. Okay, it's always there. It's a part of the programming. It's a part of the landscape, but I may not be as aware of it in real time. All right, so now that we can kind of understand the difference between like what I'm aware of and what I'm not, let's go here. What's a neural pathway? So a neural pathway is a programming in your brain that will tell you to go a particular way. It has you do a particular thing because it's wired that way through repetition. So imagine in your backyard, if we're going to make a neural pathway back there of automatic thoughts, imagine a friend of yours keeps cutting through your yard to go to the park. And because you don't see that backyard all the time, you're not really paying that much attention to it. By the time you see that backyard, there's a beaten path, right? The grass is gone and now you see dirt in that backyard. And so you see that strip of dirt going from one end of the backyard to the other because over time it's been walked on day after day after day after day. And you may or may not have been aware of it, but now that you are, you can see that something is really particularly there. Well, that's like a neural pathway. A neural pathway happens in your brain when you have a repeated action, a repeated thought, a repeated behavior, okay? So if your thoughts sound something like this, when you go to make change or when you go to in the direction of your goal, something like, well, I messed up that one time before, so I'm probably gonna mess up again. Or I have to do it perfectly or not at all. Or, oh my goodness, they walked past me today and didn't speak, so I'm sure they don't like me. I know I messed up one question on the test. I probably failed the whole test. Those are examples of automatic thoughts. They are things that are just right beneath the surface in your mind, in that programming that might keep you from going forward. And so if you want to change that, if you want to take back control, you know what? This is how I really want to say it. In my community, we say you need to mind your teacher, mind your granny. When you go to your granny's house, you better mind your granny. Minding something is to pay attention to it, is to be alert, to be aware, to obey it, to follow its instructions. If you want your mind to mind you, then you've got to pay attention to what you're thinking. So Liz, okay, now I understand. I've got these automatic thoughts here, and these automatic thoughts may not lead me where I want to go. I may not like what I'm thinking about. What am I supposed to do now? Let's go back to the analogy of the yard. So if you walk back there and you find out that you have a beaten path, what are you going to have to do? The first thing you're going to have to do is stop that friendly person that's walking through your yard. I bet you never thought about a negative thought being a friend of yours. It could be because it's been around for a long time, because you're comfortable with it. Because maybe at some other time in life, that thought might not have necessarily been one that was going to be as detrimental as it is right now. You know, that thought one time may not mean as much as that thought 100 times or 1,000 times. So I need you to be aware of the fact that your brain was probably your mind's probably trying to help you, but it's not helping anymore by thinking that over and over again. So you've got to have a conversation with yourself. Like, hey, self, we're going to start to think things a little differently. Once you stop the thoughts, then you're going to have to start to replace them. So think about that dirt path. You have dirt there. If you want to see grass, what are you going to have to do? You're going to have to plant something else. And then when you start to plant it, you have to water it. You have to seed it. You have to pull out the weeds of it, and you have to tend to it every single day. And so what you're thinking about, you've got to pay attention to and be aware of all the time. And every time you catch yourself thinking something stanky and foul, you are going to have to stop it and change it. And that's how you're going to start to replant that grass. So after you do that and you tend to it every single day, we can expect that that little beaten path is going to come up with something else. And we can expect that that beaten path is going to start to support you. And we can expect that you're going to make your mind mine. Some of us are out here allowing our minds to run amok. We let our minds go down rabbit trails in negative directions all the time. And I'm telling you that you have more power than you think you do. And if you really want to reach your goals, if you really have some successes that you want to see in this lifetime, what you're going to have to do is work on that mind and those automatic thoughts and make your mind do what you want it to. I'm Elizabeth White. Please like, subscribe, and share. I'll see you next time.